Welcome back to the Salon Owner's Holistic Blueprint podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacqueline Rodriguez, and today I have a very special guest with me. Courtney Cox has been a licensed esthetician since 2001, and she has got a world of education background, and she does still work with clients. But what's really, really interesting and what we're going to dive into today is how she created her long-held dream of education community. So she's an educator and an owner of Brilliance Advanced Beauty Education, and she is dedicated to helping others in our industry. So above all, Courtney wants nothing more than to give back and help make the beauty and wellness industry stronger. Welcome to the Salon Owner's Holistic Blueprint, your podcast for unlocking the secrets to a thriving salon business through holistic practices. I'm Jacqueline Rodriguez, your host, and join me each week as we explore wellness, sustainability, and business success. Everything from attracting conscious clients to adopting eco-friendly practices. We're going to cover it all to elevate your salon business. Welcome back to the Salon Owner's Holistic Blueprint podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacqueline Rodriguez, and today I have a very special guest with me. Courtney Cox has been a licensed esthetician since 2001, and she has got a world of education background, and she does still work with clients. But what's really, really interesting and what we're going to dive into today is how she created her long-held dream of education community. So she's an educator and an owner of Brilliance Advanced Beauty Education, and she is dedicated to helping others in our industry. So above all, Courtney wants nothing more than to give back and help make the beauty and wellness industry stronger. So my pleasure to have Courtney on the episode today. Let me highlight her. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Of course. There we go. Yeah, I'm super excited. Like, we met through the Green Beauty community, and that's actually one of the things that I love the most about the community is, like a community, we get to meet so many amazing people, and I have just been blown away by the passion and the excitement and the sheer tenacity of people in our industry doing things that we normally wouldn't do or that we think is too hard. And you were definitely one of those people that I was just like, this is cool. So tell us who you are and a little bit about you.
Thank you. And the feeling is mutual. I just love the mission that you are on and how you are helping people in your own niche, if you will. It's so important. And yeah, just building our community stronger.
Yes.
So like you said, I am Courtney Cox. I'm an esthetician in Illinois since 2001. And I have found niches at different points in my life to work with clients. And I think that's a really important thing. Otherwise, keeping up with everything can be just a lot. But in our state, we are required as a beauty professional, also massage therapists are as well, to have continuing education hours. And I just felt really called to help our community. And I had been a lash lift trainer with Elibana and eventually became a master trainer and then one of their general managers. So I wore a lot of hats and a distributor in that arena, but I just really enjoyed helping just educate and just help grow our industry, especially when the professionals are wanting the education. So we developed this community, and I say I am the founder, but I work with a lot of different educators who have their own little niches, things that they're an expert at. So to bring our community, and that's estheticians, that's cosmetologists, barbers, hair braiders, nail techs, and massage therapists, and salon owners, of course, but just kind of give you guys a variety of unique education that is really just not talked about in school for sure. And just, yeah, hard to find classes on. So
Yeah, so that's a really interesting niche to be able to bring in all of these different educators and provide a platform for them to educate. But what I really find interesting is that you have like everybody who comes on your platform and every piece of education, correct me if I'm wrong, you do get what was it? CE.
CE or CEU hours. So
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
some states require that to keep your license intact. Illinois is one of them, which is kind of what drew me to that because in our state, for instance, you have to take classes a certain amount of hours depending on your profession every 2 years. Now, every state is different. Some require a specific course, and maybe it's just on sanitation or law. And you have to do it maybe every year instead of every other year. Or for instance, in Illinois and some of the other states we work with, it's like elective kind of classes. For example, we have one on being incorporating eco-friendly money and time-saving tips, so which is kind of partially how
Awesome.
we got connected. But, so in Illinois, that would count. Now, so we are currently approved in 9 states and working on additional states. Now there are a lot of states and we started working outside of the country. So we're able to help people in Canada and in the European Union. Um, a lot of those countries obviously do not require these kind of continuing education hours either, but it's just so important. I feel our industry is ever evolving, and I feel if we're not growing, we're not and learning, we're sinking. So yeah, so we can help any professional, even if you don't need continuing education hours, but that is something we work with the different state boards to get approval, just because if you live in one of these states, since that is already an expense for you, we try to make it that you have more options available to you to take courses. So maybe something a little different from, I was feeling that pain after about, year 16. It's like, okay, I want to take something different, but there just really wasn't. I feel like I kept taking the same kind of classes. And in my opinion, sometimes all you need is one tiny little nugget in one class and it'll just change everything. But, I just wanted to expand that. And so I felt just called, and here we are.
I love that. And that's such an important like piece of it is the different types of education. Because in Virginia, as a cosmetologist, I don't have to have any CEEs or CEUs. See, because I don't even know what I'm supposed to do because we don't have to have that in Virginia. Now, I'm not sure about estheticians or massage therapists in Virginia, but I can only imagine if you are required to have those, that trying to find the classes, and especially when you want to expand on the knowledge that you have to take these. So being able to expand on the knowledge and having one place to go to is so awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit more about what type of education you are bringing on and, just so anybody listening, if it sparks their interest, they can really check it out and see the variety of education you're providing.
Of course, thank you. So most of our classes are not technical. A lot of our classes, pretty much all of our classes are online or live virtual. So kind of like this, like a Zoom. And that if it's a live virtual, there will always be a replay available, but then they can, if they're live with us, they can also communicate with the educator at the time. We currently have 49 classes and we are adding more all the time. We have I'm trying to think of, I have to sneeze. I have to sneeze. Maybe not. So we have classes mostly on, I would say, like soft skills. So a lot of people, you may be rocking it with your technical skills, but if you are not good with, say, your customer service, or we have financial classes, we have some courses on social media. So like on TikTok or just how to kind of create your social media account. Now, I know people are in every aspect of that, right? So some people are already pros at social media, but we try to have something for everyone. We have an educator that's working on a class that is for how to prepare to take a maternity leave and how to come back from that. That of course can be applied to if you needed to have a surgery or if you needed some other kind of FMLA kind of situation where you needed to take a temporary leave. We have boundaries classes. We have how to start your business. So it's just like a very in-depth class on, of course, it's a little generic in regards to, because we're working with different states and countries, we can't say, oh, you need to go to your specific county and these are your rules. But it does tell you, you need to go to your specific county and, make sure you understand the rules or are clear on what your requirements are to open a business. But it includes checklists and things like that.
This episode is brought to you by the Holistic Salon Academy. At the Academy, you gain access to knowledge, tools, and a thriving community you need to excel in the clean, green, and sustainable beauty business. By joining the Holistic Salon Academy, you become a pioneer in a new era of beauty and wellness.
Gosh, I mean, we just have such a variety of things. And like I said, most of them are not technical classes. Now, we will be probably incorporating some more of that. But thus far, we've kind of just focused on a lot of things that can kind of help our community as a whole. And so, I believe you're a cosmetologist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm an esthetician. So we could take the same class and neither of us would be bored because it would apply to either one of us, because it has to do with building your business or, just how to incorporate eco-friendly tools or working smarter, not harder is one of our courses. I mean, there's just so many. So yeah, we try to cover just different things that of course aren't covered in your beauty school or your massage school.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. And that's a lot of what I teach and educate on in the academy. Because obviously, as a cosmetologist, I have plenty of technical skills, but I felt like there was such a plethora of people out there teaching, and they love it.
Yeah.
My niche really, and what I love to teach is that whole the why I love teaching the neuroscience behind why we do what we do, but also like how to actually run the business. And for most of us in this industry, we come into it, we start a business, we our booth rental, whatever it is, where we really are responsible for our business because we love the creative aspect.
Yes.
But nowhere in cosmetology school was I ever taught on how to run a business, how to get clients, how to keep them satisfied, how to get them coming back, how to get online reviews, and definitely not social media, because when I went, there was no social media. I'm aging myself, and that's okay. But those types of classes, while I'm engrossed in them because that's what I do. But for the majority of hairstylists or, just the professional in the industry, they're not always seeing the classes on how to run your business and be a successful entrepreneur. And even if you are working for a bigger corporation, the fact is when you are providing a service, you are an entrepreneur. You have to know how to keep them, how to talk to them, how to provide a specific experience to keep them coming back and how to get more people in. So you always have to have that mindset. And there's not a place that I have found that you can go to and like get all of that education. I mean, technical stuff is everywhere, but this is what builds that foundation for you to use those technical skills.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the product companies, whether it's a nail company or a skincare line or a modality or a hair care color company or shampoo. I mean, honestly, when you want to learn about that product, they are going to be the best person to learn from, because the minute you start train, unless it's not one of their trainers, because then it becomes the telephone game, and you're learning just whatever
Mm-hmm.
someone else got out of it. But I feel no one talks about a lot of these things. And as an artist, I feel that our industry is more that we're creatives and artists, and some of us are a little more rounded on I'm definitely one of those people, since I grew up working in an office and other things like that, if you don't pay your bills, even though you're amazing in the treatment room, you're not going to have a business. And I'm sure you would feel this way as well, Jacqueline, that when I started out, I feel that the responsibility as a professional, even an employee, is almost as much as an owner, in the regards that, like, you need to still work on building your clientele. You still need to have a social media profile. And so some of our courses are really more designed for the, salon owner or the solopreneur, if you will. But I feel that so many professionals at this point, even though you're employed by someone, which is great. I mean, self-employment is certainly not for everyone. And I'm not trying to diminish how much work it is to be self-employed. But on the other side, as an employee, you don't just show up to work, do the stuff, and leave. You are still building your clientele, and you still need to treat them well and do all the things, and maybe have a professional profile on social media, and just getting yourself out there, or even attending community events with or without work. You are basically a billboard at all times. And so
Yes.
kind of trying to help people feel more comfortable with that, and more confident, and also on the flip side of that, having boundaries, because so many of us are just we want to help people, so it's so easy for us to get sucked into bending way too much to help people and not helping
We've all
ourselves.
been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there. And it's such a great point. Like, that's why I said before, like, whether you're working with somebody else or not, you are the entrepreneur behind your chair. And when
Yeah.
you have that entrepreneur mindset, maybe you don't have to take care of all the back end stuff, but it is incredibly powerful if you know how to market yourself, how to talk to your clients, how to create an experience. Also, financial. You can make $100,000, but if you don't know how to create stability with your financials, then what's it all for? Right? And so many of us think that only the salon owners or the solopreneurs or the salon owners are the ones learning this or needing to learn it. When you take on that responsibility of just educating yourself on how things are done, when you come into a class that, yes, maybe is geared more towards salon owners, you start to learn what it's going to take. You don't ever have to be a salon owner. You don't ever have to put on that entrepreneur hat if you don't want to, because you said it, it's not for everyone. But when you have that knowledge, then you can start tweaking the way you're doing things to really explore what is possible for you to be able to be behind the chair or, in your own room. And not only that, it's so powerful to have that, but for the salon owners, it is incredibly powerful for you to create that education and have places for your stylists to go, because you're the leader. You get to create the experience that your staff and your stylists and anybody working in the salon with you, they look to you for guidance. And if you take on everything, then you're enabling them to not take, that type of responsibility. And when you actually create a system and you create expectations and you guide them in a way, then they feel more empowered to be able to go out there and market and do the things. Because one of the biggest struggles I hear from salon owners is that their stylist or their esthetician, whoever's working with them, is that they don't want to work hard. They don't want to go out there and do those things or market themselves or take any of the responsibility. And I really do encourage those salon owners, like, you get to lead them that way. If they're not taking responsibility, it's because you haven't set the expectations. And when you have something like this, where now the salon owners can be like, look at all of these classes that are available to you. This is what this class would do for you behind the chair. And educating on them, like what the classes are and why it would actually change their business behind the chair. And you bring it together in such a different way that really empowers the stylists to take charge of their business behind the chair and the salon owner to create that experience and lead their team to success instead of taking everything on themselves. And, I've been there. I mean, I tried to do it all and I had that same story. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that, because I didn't lead them to that. I didn't show them what was possible. And then when that story changed, so did everything else.
Good point, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, for instance, like with the financial, excuse me, the financial aspect, a lot of owners, well, first of all, a lot of people get intimidated by it, which I understand. Unfortunately, everyone thinks it's hard. It's not even that it's hard, guys. It's that we didn't learn. Growing up, and I think this is probably still true, let's just talk about grade school and high school, middle school, or whatever, but most of those dynamics left it up to our parents, and our parents either did or didn't educate us. And if they did, it doesn't even mean that they had the tools to do this, to teach us. And so really, finances is just a skill that we haven't learned. It's not that scary. And you don't have to dive in super deep to just learn and change your life around. And for an owner, I'm not anti-accountants at all, but I do think, or even a bookkeeper. I mean, I've been a bookkeeper for literally decades of my life, but I think it is super important for you to understand just the basics. And so you can, first of all, not get taken advantage of, because if you just kind of say, here is the work, I'll just trust that everything's fine. Ultimately, that comes back on you personally or professionally. So, and also just so you can make better choices. I mean, if like especially this time of year, I'm not sure when this is going to come out, probably not now, but at the end of the year, you might be making financial choices because a lot of times you want to write off. And so maybe now is a good time to make an investment on something if it makes sense for your business. But I also think a lot of people want to make more money. Just stemming this back to both owners and employees. The best way that you can make money without, having to raise your rates or anything is to understand your money and not have debt. And now all of a sudden, all that money that you've been paying to credit card people or loan interest rates and things like that becomes yours. And so if you understand, and again, just can make better choices. I think in our industry, especially, I saw this meme long ago and I was like, oh, this is so true. Where it was someone walking through a store and he picks something up and he says to himself, okay, it's $200. And he's doing the math in his head. How many services do I need to do to like make this, to pay for this, right? but we can so easily be like, oh, well, that'll only take me 2 clients, or but then all of a sudden, once you add all that up, you may be way overspending. You know, all of a sudden you need to see 1 million clients that month to pay for what you just did or bought or whatever. So,
Yeah.
I think
I
just have,
love those memes. And I also love the other ones now where it's like girl math, hairstylist math. Like if I didn't have to pay for this, then this is like basically free.
yeah,
And they're funny and there's some level of reality in there because we do make these decisions. So education behind it and just knowing your numbers. Thank you for joining today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed the training. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about in today's training, or honestly, anything I've talked about on this podcast, I want you to go to www.cleanbeautybiz.com/advisor, or you can click the link in the show notes where you can ask me any questions you have about this episode or anything else that I have covered on this podcast. Again, that link is www.cleanbeautybiz.com, and this amazing little tool allows you to get your specific questions answered by me 24/7.
yeah, for sure, for sure, yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's crazy to me that they haven't started teaching this to everyone, and not just in our industry, but like you said, our kids and the middle schoolers and the high schoolers, like they still don't have basic knowledge on how to open a checking account or credit. Because
yeah,
I have an 18-year-old and he didn't get taught credit cards and everything in school.
yeah,
Obviously, I was teaching him at home, but I thought I had set him up for one of my cards to start getting a credit report for him, like to have credit history. I thought I had set it up. I set it up wrong. And I just added him as just a user or whatever. So none of his information is on the card to create that credit report for him. And now here we are, he's 18, he's about to move out. And he's like, well, let's check my credit report, mom. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking I set it up right. I didn't. And lo and behold, he has no credit. And I set this up like 2 years ago, not even thinking, I had the right intention and
yeah,
I knew, but I just set it up wrong. So if I would have been more proactive of looking at it deeper and just diving in, sometimes it is just taking that time to block out in your schedule for the stuff that is honestly not so fun. And sometimes education can be that. You think that you don't have the time
yeah,
to take classes, to implement these things. And I encourage most of like all of my students to take a look at what is it actually costing you, right? So if you don't have the time, okay, and somewhere in there, it's costing you something. So if you're losing $1,000 a month because you're not looking at your financials in a year, it's costing you $12,000.
yeah.
That's
That's a lot.
big. Yes. And when we switch it around like that and we think about it as what is it costing us to not dive into these, education pieces that are not always so fun, like financials or learning how to really do social media or, any of the other classes that you provide. There is a cost to not doing it.
Yeah. And it could even be just your time. Maybe
Yeah.
something saves you time, or yeah, gives you just different opportunities that who knows what it could bring. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's just shifting that mindset of looking at if you're in this story of, I don't have time to take it, or I don't have enough money to invest in this, whatever the case may be, it's shifting the story and seeing what is it actually costing you to not do these things And that's a big piece with the education like this, because we all are excited to look at a new technique and a new way to balayage, to color, to, any of that, because that's in our wheelhouse. That's what we love to do. But taking the time to do classes that like you provide to better your financials, to run a business, to just attract more clients and be more sustainable in your salon or in behind the chair, that is going to be incredibly beneficial.
Yeah. Actually, we just had that one with Carly, which I know you guys know.
Oh, yes.
Like one of the classes we just had, and she gave such great tips on attracting, giving skills and attracting clients that are loyal and creating a sustainable business. And I know a lot of people are having feeling a little short right now. Like just clients are either maybe stretching their appointments out or just not coming in as often or not coming at all. We've been hearing that over and over and over again. And just her tips were so great that do take a little bit of effort. However, they're going to make some great clients and they cost you nothing but your time. So, I mean, there's just so many things out there. And the nice thing about, I know what you're saying, and I sign up for classes all the time. I mean, I'm just a lifelong learner, but the nice thing about our classes is they can be done anywhere, anytime. So it could be, if you had a gap, you could work on it a little bit. Or if your significant other is watching football, this is me, and I could care less about football, but I want to be by him, right? So I'll just sit there with my AirPods in and take a class or part of it, and just take in little nuggets. But the key is also to implement what you learn and not just take all the things. So
Yes, implementation is the biggest key because I too am an avid learner. I love uh, learning, always learning new things. I do the same thing. I sit down, I'm always on my laptop and I got one headphone in and I'm, attentive and in present with my family. But when football or certain things are going on, it's not my jam. So I'd rather do something else. And I actually had to stop because I was listening to books all on Audible and podcasts, and I was, taking in a lot of information. And I realized that I was over consuming and not implementing. So it is a balance. And I had to like pull back on, not taking or reading 10 books, but reading one, implementing, and then going to the next one. It is a key piece because if you don't implement, then again, what is it costing you? It costs you that time of listening to it, but then also it's costing you not implementing the thing into your business because nothing's going to change if you don't implement.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
crazy. But I love what you're doing and I find it so amazing that you took the initiative to start bringing these things together and bringing a different purpose, right? You have to have these to continue with your licensing. You created such a beautiful place to find it in one place and to expand on what you are actually learning. So I'm so excited to like dive in and take a look at all the classes that you're offering. And anyone who is listening, please tell us like where we can follow you, where we find out more information, all of that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words and support, of course. So our website is Brilliance Advanced with a D, beautyeducation.com. And we're on Facebook at Brilliance Advanced Beauty Education, and Instagram, we're Brilliance Advanced Beauty Ed because it's way too long. And you may notice we have an acronym, which is BABE. So keeps it simple, but yeah, we couldn't make that the website because you can imagine what kind of crazy things you might get.
Yeah, I can see that going wrong in
Yeah,
certain.
yeah.
Um, awesome. Well, thank you again for what you're doing and for coming on to the podcast. I really enjoyed just, hearing about what you're doing, diving into this topic, and also continuing to watch what you're doing and, the educators that you're bringing in. So I truly appreciate it. And like always, all of her links, everything will be in the show notes. So make sure that you hop over to the show notes, follow her, take the classes, and then let us know. I love hearing back how things, are going for you, what questions you have. I'm sure you can, I love Instagram, so I'm always on there. DM me, or where's the best place to find you?
Probably Instagram as well.
Okay.
Brilliance Advanced Beauty Ed. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
real
We're
people.
open to the feedback too. Yes.
Yeah, we're real people on the other end. Let us know, what kind of classes you're looking for. I'm sure that would be super valuable so that you can start searching for those educators, and then also she can provide that for you. So thank you again.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk to you and hopefully connect with your community and just let them know that we're here for them. And I think we both feel strongly in just making our community a better place and community over competition. So
It's always like that's the beauty of, again, shifting mindset of we're all in this together. We just want to see everyone, every single one of us can win. We're all different. We all have such beautiful, unique talents, and you get to dive into that. So thanks.
thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, follow us, and enjoy. Comment. Let us know what you thought, and we will see you on the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to the Salon Owner's Holistic Blueprint. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow and subscribe. Until next time, stay inspired, stay passionate, and keep thriving in the world of holistic beauty.